When I do the intro, I'm going to, I'll freeze on my end. And our intro is about 40 seconds. I'll switch it back over and then I'll just start talking. When I start talking, you guys will be like, oh shit, we're going. I'll do the silly little intro and then we'll be off to the races. Cool?
Yep.
Sounds
good.
Nice.
Going with the flow.
Love it. I'm gonna give it a second. Like I said, I'm gonna get it sent over in a couple like Discord chats and stuff.
Yeah, I'm gonna find my picture quick.
Be off to the races. Cool.
Yep. Sounds good. Going.
Sweet. It's out. It's out there for the world. There's nothing we can do now.
I was just gonna add something to news and rumors and then I completely forgot it. Because I got distracted by something else to add.
Yeah?
Yeah. Hi, Justin.
What's up, Justin? Thanks for stopping by, bud. We're about to take off.
It might come to me.
The what?
It might come to me.
Whatever you were gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet. Well, guys, I'm gonna hit record, do a silly little intro, and we'll start talking about some wrestling.
Cool.
All right.
Let's go.
Oh.
3, 2, 1. Hello to all my people, and if you're watching live, checking us out on YouTube, or listening on your favorite podcast provider, you are most definitely my people. Welcome to another episode of Botched Spots and Share Shots. I'm your host, a chef by trade, not marked by choice. I am the Will Gray, and joining us tonight for the first time making their Botched Spots and Share Shots debut, we got 3 of the boys from the Kick Out Crew podcast making their debuts. We got Brad, we got Mike, we got Devin. What's up, gentlemen? How are you guys? Thanks for coming on and chat about some wrestling, man.
Oh man, it's
Thanks
been
so much
good.
for
Thank.
As always, we're talking over each other.
Well,
Glad to be on. Well,
good. I'm happy to have you guys. I'm glad you're all here and present and accounted for. I'm double checking my audio stuff. We're good, we're good, we're good. Also joining us, as always, perched upon her iron throne in the boss bitch's corner, is the Beyonce to my Hova, the Bonnie to my Clyde. She is the brains behind the operation. She is the boss bitch, Miss Allison. Al, how are you?
I'm good.
Good. Well, we're here. It's time to do it. Gentlemen, before we get rolling, we get into some news and rumors and those types of things. I always start the same way every time, no matter what. I always ask, what has you pissed off for greatness this week in pro wrestling? What has you the most worked up out of anything that's going on? From somebody's gear to a match, it could be a storyline, anything, good, bad, or indifferent. What has you guys pissed off for greatness?
well, I'll tell you what I got pissed off at this week was Rampage, and it just happened last night. Now I can never get this name right, but by Kingo, right? Is that the name I got?
Yeah.
All right, so he's in
Vikingo?
that match. Incredible moves. Everything's going great. He's dead to the world on the mat. All of a sudden, he sees that his knee like brace or his knee pad was a little bit down. So he woke up for a minute, pulled it up, and then was back to the dead. So that annoyed me a little bit. Second was Christopher Daniels hits his finishing move on Moxley, and for some reason just can't cover him, even though nothing happened to him right before that. Little things like that get to me, but overall, it's been a good week in wrestling.
Brad, do you think there's such thing as a protected finisher in wrestling right now?
I mean, that's what they were going for there, but I would have liked to see him get kicked in the face before or something like that for a reason for him to stay down. Because in a minute later, he was up and doing flips.
That's the glorious world of Lucha Libre. Devin, Mike, what you got for me?
Well, I'll tell you one thing I got. There's not enough Dolph Ziggler on TV right now.
I can agree to
I
that.
want to see Dolph Ziggler in there. He don't have to have a championship around his waist. I just want to see him in there getting it going. Whether it's Raw, SmackDown, it don't matter. I just want to see Dolph Ziggler on there. So that right there, every week he's not on, that pisses me off.
That's a good one. And somebody who doesn't have a problem selling is Dolph Ziggler. That dude sells his ass off in the ring.
He does, and that's he's the working man in there. He can put anybody over, he'll put anybody over, and he'll make anybody and everybody look good while he's doing it.
I can get behind some Dolph Ziggler most of the time. I'm okay with it. Sorry, Matt Ward says, Will, I'm glad I'm not the only person who says Kenny Omega as the modern day Chris Kanyon. Matt Ward, thank you. We're going to get there. That's on my list tonight, too. Devin, I guess that's you, right? What you got for me?
So what really gets me kind of pissed off in pro wrestling lately has been how the Impact X division has been booked. They've had three main guys at the top of that division, and Jonathan Gresham, Speedball Mike Bailey, and the champion Trey Miguel. Those three just put on a hell of a match at Rebellion. And the three of them, if I had to rank it, it'd be 4.5 stars. And then this week on Impact Wrestling, those three men are all on the same side in a losing matter to three guys that lost at Rebellion. Come on now. Give some respect back to that X Division Championship.
I'm really glad you guys are here. We get a lot of flack in our circle of friends because there's not very many Impact people and NWA type guys. So I am fucking hyped because I wrote down Impact news and NWA stuff to go over. It's on.
All right. I love me some NWA.
Devin is our Impact and NWA. He's all the way for that.
That's me. I love that stuff. Al, what you got for us tonight? Anything piss you off?
This is part of news and rumors, but I'm going to touch on it for just a brief second in my piss off or greatness because it deserves to be mentioned twice. I am tired of hearing about all of these superstars that are getting harassed by fans out in public. Like, they have lives too. They're normal people. Like, they're not, there for you to harass whenever you see fit. Like, if you want one thing signed, like, okay, whatever. Like, really, you shouldn't bother them in public. But, like, these people that are continuously harassing all these stars, it's getting a little ridiculous at this point.
I don't disagree. So, instead of digressing too far into that before we get going into it, my pissed off for greatness really easy. We host a show once a week called Dirty Belly. It's completely unrelated to wrestling. But today on the show, the two chefs were talking about cornbread, and one of the two of them said that a corn tortilla and cornbread were one and the same. As a deep-hearted Southern man, that ripped my chest out, and I, bled to death live on air because I was like, you're fucking crazy, dude. You cannot convince me that a cornbread, everybody knows what cornbread is, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's had cornbread.
I'm
They
just glad she's
compared...
F-bomb out there.
Yeah, they compared cornbread to a corn tortilla and said they were one and the same. They were two different versions of cornbread.
No.
That pissed me off. I'm a chef by trade and a mark by choice. I take food. Fucking seriously, guys. Serious. And this guy's like, no, corn tortilla, cornbread, one and the same. I wanted to pull the plug and just stop the stream right there. It took everything I had not to.
Yeah,
Well,
no, that right there would not have been good for me.
It's just one of those things. That's what has me pissed off for greatness, is that somebody today on our network like the place we call home as a family had the audacity to compare a corn tortilla to cornbread. That ripped my soul out. Al, it's yours. Let's start some news and rumors.
So picking up off of my pissed off for greatness, Alexa Bliss is the most recent superstar to be harassed with autographs. Like I said, it's really getting out of control, especially like with the women's stars. Because, I mean, most of them don't have like bodyguards or security or anything with them. So, like, these can be not great situations for these women. I just, being from Nashville, I've said it before, there's an unspoken rule here on why celebrities choose to live here is don't bother the celebrities out in public. Like, just don't do it. I don't know.
This is the part of the conversation, gentlemen, where it's just kind of a free-for-all. After she reads our headline to us, the four of us just kind of chew on it and spit it out as we see fit. So y'all can dive into it as needed.
I did see the video on Twitter with Alexa Bliss, and I follow Alexa Bliss everywhere, as most crew knows. And I seen like one guy, he had there's like 15 things, and I mean it was the same thing. It was that package for her doll thing, and she kept signing away. And there's the same thing for I think it was Kevin Owens was another one.
Yeah,
I just saw the KO video. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and that is, next, if we go up there and get somebody's autograph, get one or two things signed. I mean, we do a thing, every year where we go to a wrestling convention and we get a few things signed, but that's personal. That's for us. That's what it should be about. It shouldn't be about selling everything.
Yeah.
I'm sure you guys have touched on it with Rhea Ripley, went through this and got cornered at an airport.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a safety issue at that point. And like you said, these people are not looking for autographs for themselves. They're looking to sell them online. They're sending kids there. That's harassment. And, and actually the event that Mike was talking about, there was actually someone that snuck in there that was doing the same exact thing. And it's a shame because it's supposed to be something for the fans, something for us. I believe it or not, Kevin Owens was in my hometown recently, and he was at the Planet Fitness, and apparently there was a line to get to him. Now, the guy's just trying to work out and do his thing. I know it's Kevin Nash. You're not going to hide. You're 6'10", almost 7 feet. But say hello and move on,
Yeah.
Say hello and move on, or say, hey, can I talk to you after your workout?
Completely
Yeah,
agree.
you gotta respect that they're people too.
Yeah.
And I seen the one about Rey Mysterio when he literally he didn't have his mask on or anything, and people were trying to take pictures and get autographs. And he was like, "I'll give you one autograph. I'm not signing all of these." He's like, "And absolutely no pictures."
Yeah.
He's like, "Unless I have that mask on, you're not getting a picture with me."
Yeah.
And then at the end of the video, he gave the little kid an autograph. Didn't take a picture though. But yeah, that's not Rey Mysterio. When he's getting off the airport or off the airplane, when he doesn't have his mask on, that's Oscar Gutierrez. You gotta respect him for that.
For sure. What's up, Tim? Thanks for stopping by, Bubba. Good to see you. I completely agree. I think that it's just an invasion of privacy at this point. They're not, like you said, he's not Rey Mysterio. That's not Rhea Ripley. That's not Alexa Bliss. These are just people traveling for their job, to do a job. And now you're just harassing them. Like, I think what it does is it really puts a bad image on collectors, too. Mm-hmm. Because it makes people like me and some of my friends who do collect memorabilia and take it seriously and have autographs. It makes it hard for us to approach somebody in the wild now because we don't want to be lumped in with these other characters. You know what I mean? So, it sucks because if I'm at a wrestling show, I hate the fact that I have to feel self-conscious about whether or not it's okay to walk up and ask for a picture now because other fans decided to show their ass. That's just my 2 cents on it.
Yeah. Agreed. Next up, WWE has reached a new deal to allow their talent back on Twitch.
Ooh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so how it'll work is it's going to be a 3-way split in money. The wrestler will get the bulk of the money, then Twitch will get their cut, and then WWE will take the smallest cut.
As it should be.
That seems fair. That's better than especially not having them on there.
Yeah.
I guess the question is, where do you draw the line? And with Twitch, obviously there was a real big deal made about it. It was well over a year ago. They lost, Selena over it, and but now like you think about someone doing an OnlyFans or a fan page. Is that the next step, and are they going to allow that, or are they going to allow them to do whatever they want on there? I guess it just depends on how much of their likeness is owned by WWE and what they're letting them do with it. How far they're going to let them go with it. It seems like it's looser now than ever, though.
Yeah. I mean, they never.
I think they should.
Oh, go ahead.
I think they should be able to do it like anything they want. You know, if they agree, okay, I'll do it, and like WWE gets a portion of the money, you know, however much it is, but you know, but they still get to do it. I think they should. You know, if they're using their WWE name, then yes, pay WWE for it. But I mean, there should not be no backlash for anything like that for them doing it.
It all comes down to like they're not an independent contractor. It's that title, that independent contractor, is just crazy to me when it's not. You're not an independent contractor. You're just not getting bet. You know, if there's rules, you're not one. So it's just really it's just such a foggy thing.
Well, they've been turning down unions since WrestleMania 2. When, you know, Jesse the Body came around, he wanted to unionize back in the day, like 85, 86. And, you know, the rumor in the locker room was that Hogan outed them to McMahon, and McMahon shut the union down then. And it's never been brought up since. And that's the problem. Because if you look into, you know, like, what is it, the FCA or FTC or whatever it is, the people who manage the free trade agreements and stuff like that for these kind of contracted employees, they've got things like, we reported in November that they were looking to put an end to non-compete clauses. So if you 86 contract on somebody, you can't prevent them from working for 90 days unless you agree to pay them the 100% of the contract. So WWE cutting people down to 10% of their contract, like this would prevent them from being able to cut, you know, 85, 90% of their income over 3 months before they're cut out of their deal. There's a lot of screwy stuff that goes into how wrestlers are booked, not just in the ring, but out of it.
So, agreed. It's interesting that, like, you know, post now Mandy Rose are like, okay, well, you can do Twitch. But I agree with Brad. It's like, where do you draw the line, like, with OnlyFans and things like that? It is interesting that through all of this, they still let New Day keep up, down, down. They never once said anything about that.
But that was handled through WWE.
It is, but still, it's like they're, you know, it's like, it's almost like different rules for different people. But now,
Yeah.
like, here's this, okay, well, you can do Twitch kind of rule, because I guarantee you, Twitch is going to be giving WWE some sort of kickback for allowing this.
You're right. It's even as simple as doing a podcast. You know, you have someone like Bruce Pritchard who does a podcast, but then you have someone else that's not allowed to do a podcast. It's different rules for different people, for sure. You're right about that.
Yeah.
Well, I think the thing with Bruce was, since he already had the podcast when he signed the contract, to say, hey, I want to continue my podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure. I'm
Which-
just saying. Yeah.
I mean, and even with him, we might get him once a month sometimes,
Yeah,
if that. You know, I mean, there's been times where we went, you know, probably 2 months without a new episode. So, but he still gets to do it, and that makes things a lot better. And I am waiting for that Paul Heyman podcast.
That would
That's
be
what I'm
amazing.
waiting for.
If they give
Waiting
Heyman
for
a
that Paul
podcast, that'll be nuts.
Give WWE some credit for that one, and let them take a little cut. But I think that there would be a good one.
Matt Ward says the bump is shown on Twitch even before Vince said they couldn't stream on Twitch. So the bump's gone back. I remember them doing some stuff on Twitch before, but I didn't think WWE had a real big presence on here. So I may be wrong. That might be something I'm wrong about, but I didn't think they had a huge Twitch presence in the past.
Didn't they try to?
The bump's one of those things where they put everywhere, though. That streams live on YouTube. It's literally on Instagram Live. That's on Twitch. Like the bump's a WWE product, and they're promoting that on every WWE platform they can.
Anywhere they can. Okay.
Well, didn't they do a little thing with it a couple years ago, or was that a different one? You know, it was that one where they had like the 10-second videos. It was like a Snapchat, Twitter type thing mixed. They had like I don't even know what it was called.
Fine.
No, yeah, Vine. It might have been Vine. Yes.
Great job, Devin.
Get everything.
That was like 15 years ago.
Yeah, but they had a thing there where they had all their wrestlers, like doing stuff with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
Be interesting to see, who does content and what kind of content they're going to do. I'm sure there will be strict regulations put on them if, if they want to use their in-ring name and character and things like that. So should be interesting to see. I mean, it could help bring in a new audience, but it could also, take away from, we all know in 2023 kayfabe's dead, but we can still hope for it sometimes. Next on my list, there is reportedly bubbling paranoia among some of the WWE talent. Their concerns are Vince's potential return to creative, which he has said, numerous times he has no want to be a part of creative, and they're also concerned about potential future releases.
I mean, this is something for sure. I mean, why in the world are the Good Brothers there? Why is Karrion Kross there? I mean, these names are not. These are the names they brought back when Triple H took over. Now all of a sudden, they're not real involved. I mean, I don't even see the Good Brothers right now. I do see a little bit of Karrion Kross, but here he was in the main event picture, and now he's. He's doing something, but not what we hoped for. Even a Braun Strowman. I mean, how long is this thing with Ricochet going to last? I would be concerned too if I was the competitors that were signed after Triple H took over, and now Vince is maybe not back in the picture. I would be concerned because they left for a reason. I mean, they were either let go or they made other decisions.
The Good Brothers aren't being used, but they are being used during live events since AJ is injured right now. So they're doing house shows, just not on TV.
Gotcha.
I'll be more concerned with the wrestlers that's really not being used too much right now. I mean, and like a Dolph Ziggler, somebody that's not on the main event roster, and it's not maybe not from Vince, but from that company emerging. They have to get those cost cuts down, and that's one thing they said they're going to do is those cost cuts. So maybe we'll see a Dolph Ziggler in AEW.
Maybe.
I mean,
I think it was Fightful that initially reported that Endeavor said they were looking to push upwards of $50 million in cuts. They can't cut $50 million in, water coolers and back-of-house staff. Like, we're talking big quality contracts if we're talking those kinds of cuts. What's up, Tommy? Thanks for stopping by. But you guys are right. Like, I would be scared if it was anybody who got released during Vince's regime but got brought back in under Trips. Those are the guys that need to be sweating right now. Those are the guys on hot seats. So your Strowmans, your Reeds, Io Shirai's, Dakota Kai's, like pretty much everybody that was in NXT Black and Gold. Let's just call a spade a spade.
I mean,
You're right.
honestly, they could cut the WWE pension plan and let go of some of these Legends deals for these legends that aren't actually doing anything. That's just Vince's boys that they want to still give money to.
And the main reason they got those is so they don't go to somebody like AEW or New Japan. So I mean, they have that one contract; they're getting that money every week or 2 weeks, whatever it is, so they can't go nowhere else.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see that happening. Like that Legend deal, kick out the window.
Yeah, because I mean, most of those legends aren't actually like doing anything. Like, love Mick Foley to death, but like he's not doing anything with his Legends deal. We see Ric Flair a little bit, some of the DX guys we see, but it's mostly just like what you said, like keeping them from going and helping other promotions and things like that. But like, if you want to cut costs, like who cares where they go? Like, you shouldn't be giving them $1 million paychecks when they're not actually doing anything for you.
Right.
But it's to keep those guys off of everybody else's TV programs, because if somebody like a Flair wasn't on a WWE Legends deal, Billy Corgan would throw the fucking book at him to get him on NWA TV. He's bringing every NWA legend under the sun back on to try to get views. And you mean to tell me if Ric Flair wasn't on WWE contract, he wouldn't be on Power every week?
Fair.
100%. He would be. I mean,
Yeah.
they have Austin Idol shown 4 times an episode.
That's what I'm saying. Like, these guys would kill to have Flair on Power every Thursday. Tuesday.
So you think they can afford him? Could
I think
they
Billy
really afford
Corgan
what his
can.
money?
See, I think
Would
this
be
is
worth it.
this is my issue, and this is a very like AWOL topic, and I'm sorry to derail you, Al.
Oh, you're on the right. You're with the right guys.
Billy Corgan has Smashing Pumpkins money. Smashing Pumpkins money is 20 times what the NWA money looks like. If Billy Corgan wanted Flair and he wasn't on contract, Billy Corgan could afford Flair. Billy Corgan could pay his 1-year deal out of his own pocket and be
I
okay.
think I read he's worth $60 million, something like that. So yeah, he's got the money.
Yeah, he could pay Flair's 1.2 out of pocket and not bat an eye at it.
Right.
Yeah, I can see it happening. I just if he would do something like that, it has to make NWA money too on top of it.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
So
that's why I
you
think
can't
he
be
would do
like,
it.
and I hate to say it, but like with Tony Khan, he's forking out all this money with all these people, and he's not getting enough back in return for it.
No way.
Yeah.
So I don't want to see, I wouldn't want to see NWA do anything like that or anybody else. I don't like seeing Tony Khan do it. Like he's forking out more money than what they're coming in just to have these people on their roster.
Justin
If Ric
says-
Flair was...
so-
no,
go ahead,
you
Devin. You go ahead. Go.
All right, if Ric Flair was a free agent and Billy Corgan brought him in, if they promoted for a month that on their next pay-per-view Ric Flair was going to be cutting a 10-minute promo, I bet they'd have 4 or 5 times as much sales on that pay-per-view than they have on any of the pay-per-views in the past, just because of Ric Flair alone. Just people would pay to watch him talk for 10 minutes.
Yeah, we went to Ric Flair's last match last summer, and I was lucky enough to be able to get tickets when they first dropped because I stalked the fuck out of that page, let me tell you. But it sold out in like 30 minutes.
For sure.
And they had to move it to another arena, and then it still sold out in another 30 minutes. Like, they doubled the seating capacity. So, yeah, I mean, seeing Ric Flair is going to put butts in seats, for sure. Even if he's not wrestling, people are going to pay to see it.
Absolutely. I guess to tie it back to your topic, you kind of say the WWE should either do something with these legends that they have, or at least those guys instead of these young wrestlers that are going to be busting their ass weekly to be on TV.
Justin says, with all the rumors about aggressive budget cuts coming, everyone has the right to be on edge. I can agree with that. Katie Kinsey, Katie Wrestling 13, says maybe Billy should focus on his own show and the women before bringing in legends.
I like the women on there. I like Kenzie Page and all them.
Yeah, I was gonna ask the same thing because I see the Will Gray. He said something about NWA has the weakest women's division.
I stand by that. I think the NWA has a talented women's division. I'm not saying their women's division isn't talented. I'm saying it's the weakest as in how it's currently being booked. They're not getting the build they deserve. The amount of superstars that you have in that division, like, they should be skyrocketing right now. They've have every indie darling for the last 5 years on the NWA women's division right now, and they're not pushing anybody, really. Like, they've got a lot of really great matches, but I feel like Legends House 2 streamed on Twitch. Book it. What's up, Angry Lemonade? But yeah, this is kind of my 2 cents on it. I think the NWA's women division has a ton of talent. I just think it's not being, it's being misused, mishandled, misbooked, however you want to look at it.
I agree with that 100%. Camille hasn't had a proper feud in like 2 years, to be honest.
Ever?
She's held that
Like,
championship
yeah.
for like 3 and hasn't had it in 2. So I think that they brought in this new television championship that Kenzie Page recently won, and they've been booking Pretty Empowered, that Kenzie Page's faction, pretty well, but like they're not focused on anyone else. They brought in this new title to pretty much avoid Camille. Like I don't understand it.
Matt Ward says, give me Athena versus Camille and take my money. That's the kind of match. He also commented up a little bit that the Crockett Cup is being billed as NWA Ring of Honor presents the Crockett Cup, which is totally great news on our impact or on our side of things because we're going to be in NC covering it all week. So if Ring of Honor talent's going to be there too, that's Ring of Honor and NWA talent. It's going to be a busy week in North Carolina for us. Shout out to Angry Lemonade, by the way. Anybody who needs great merch made, check out Angry Lemonade.
I just bought 2 things from them. I have a Real Billy shirt I just bought and an AJ Kazana shirt. So yeah, shout out.
Yeah, big shout out for Angry Lemonade for stopping by.
Thank you. Peace.
Al, you got anything else? What's next on your list? I hope you got something else.
What's on my list? Because it's all this show is today. TNT announces a new show, Rich and Shameless, and will be focusing on scandals throughout sports and different things. One of their episodes is going to focus on Hogan and all of his scandals.
Ooh. So is that going to be like a 3-hour episode?
How many of Hogan's scandals? Is this going to be like a 1-hour Dark Side thing, or is that the multi-part series they're talking about?
I think it's just going to be one hour episode on him, but yeah. So I think it's going to be more of his most recent shenanigans, probably.
I have blinders with him. I'm in the age group. I'm a Hulkamaniac. I am. So I still think fondly on him, even though I know he's done some stuff. Well, but is this show going to be like an athlete a week? Is that the idea?
Yeah, they were talking about some of the people they're going to be going through. It's ultimately what it looked like, and now you can correct me if I'm wrong. Jokingly, I said it's kind of like Dark Side, but that's honestly what it looks like. Is like Dark Side of sports. They're talking about different scandals, and it's not just wrestling. They're doing one on Hogan, and they've got basketball and tennis and like some other stuff that like scandals throughout sporting history.
Like OJ.
Yeah,
Probably.
stuff like that. But they're specifically giving one to Hogan. Which, like, I put that on the list because I was curious about it. Like, I think that Hogan is one of those guys, like what Brad said. People either have blinders on and they're a Hulkamaniac till the day they die, or it's like the pendulum swings 180 degrees and there's nothing in between. It seems like a lot of guys either love Hogan or they absolutely hate Hogan and there's nothing in between. That's just my opinion.
He's still on a WWE Legends contract, correct?
Mm-hmm.
He is.
Of course.
And wonder what that cost, huh?
Probably a lot.
Yeah.
I don't know. With some of these things, it goes back to like, some of the other people we've talked about. It's separating, the character from the person. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't deny all of the great things that he did for the business. You may not like him as a person, but you do have to respect and appreciate him as a worker.
Yeah, they never get to know your heroes, right?
Right.
And he's a perfect example of that. I mean, I'm 47, so I always talk about WrestleMania 2 being one of my favorite matches, which is not a good match at all, him and Bundy. But I love that match, and I love the way he acted, and I love the Saturday Night main events leading up to it. He was talking to me in that. I had 2 of those Hulk Hogan action figures. I can't remember what brand that was, but you know which ones I mean, the ones you can't get now. And I wrote an article in my 2nd grade class. My hero is Hulk Hogan.
That's amazing. That's fantastic.
I've changed so much, as you can see.
That's awesome. Naomi has been in a lot of headlines this week. She recently started training again. What's the dude's name, Will?
Samurai Del Sol.
Thank you. Who Sasha Banks trained, or Mercedes Moné trained with before going to New Japan. She was also seen backstage at GCW's Scene of the Crime. She also had applied for a trademark for Trinity Star, but has since abandoned that. And then the last piece about her was that New Japan has approached her about signing like a couple of show deals.
Like a tour deal like they had the Good Brothers on when they first got to WWE. Remember when all that awkward shit was happening? Where they were still,
Oh, yeah.
New Japan has apparently reached out to Naomi's camp in regards to possibly doing spot shows while they're in the States. Nothing has been confirmed as far as like actual booked dates go. But yeah, what's up, Matt? Thanks for stopping by, man. I know you're getting busy. Y'all are about to hit the airwaves. But yeah, sorry. Trinity Fatu.
I wish Trendy would just sign with AEW.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
Big time.
don't mess around with the New Japan stuff. Like, I know that Mercedes is doing it's great for Mercedes Monet right now. Like, she's the women's champion there. But like, has she really done too much?
She was.
She was.
She was.
Lost it last
She
night.
just lost it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I didn't even see
That's
that.
further down on the list.
Well, okay, but like, how many matches has she actually had with New Japan so far?
I think 3 is her
3?
count right now.
Yeah.
The title match when she won, she had 1 defense, and this was her 3rd match when she lost it.
So do you think she's done with them then?
No,
Or
she signed a new deal. Actually, on my list is Mercedes Monet drops the belt to Mayu, and but she inks a new deal the same day to extend her stay with New Japan and Stardom. So even with her dropping the belt, she's still signed on for more dates with the company.
She also posted on her Instagram that she is moving to Japan full time.
Oh, there we go. Okay, well, that answers all my questions.
But I agree with you, Devin. I don't think Naomi should be. Listen, she would have to have a complete character change to me to make it work in New Japan. She's a lot of show, athletic, really athletic. I don't know about hard hitting like that, and I don't know how well it would go. I mean, I don't know what she could be. Maybe it would work, but with what her character is and what it's always been, I think she works better in WWE and probably AEW.
Yeah. I agree with Matt Ward. Give me Trinity with Jade and Leela Gray. Like, Jade and her would be amazing together.
Yeah, I think that could work too.
That would be great. I like that.
Yeah. I also feel like her doing the whole Japan thing, like, with, her and Jimmy have kids and things like that. I just can't see that working with their schedules and their family.
And I don't think it's weird for her to be behind the scenes of another wrestling organization.
Oh, no.
We did see Bailey supporting. Everybody was supporting each other. So I don't think that's crazy. I mean, you're always going to raise. Anytime anyone walks into their old job, they're going to have eyebrows raised.
Oh, of course.
But it doesn't necessarily mean anything's going on.
We've even seen Ricky Starks backstage at WWE.
He was at Royal Rumble,
Take you
right?
for that.
Yeah.
Royal Rumble.
So I think that's just wrestlers visiting their friends.
Yeah. No, it was just, she was in a lot of headlines this week.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of them, like, oh, where's she going? When somebody is not under contract anywhere, everywhere they go is like, oh, what are they doing?
What's next?
Yeah. So,
Can I knock one off my list?
go right ahead.
This is random as shit, gentlemen. And I was honestly a little shocked by this, and you'll have to follow me here. You guys know Freddie Prinze Jr., right? Former WWE writer, heartthrob kind of guy, that guy. He apparently has bought half of the Premier streaming network. If you know what Premier streaming is, like they're IWTV for guys in the chat. You know what I mean? It's like a streaming service that handles pretty much nothing but combat sports. But they do MMA as well as wrestling. They do indie stuff. It's wild. But Freddie Prinze Jr. just bought. He's literally a 50% owner now on Premier Streaming. Do we think this is him poising himself for that Freddie Prinze Jr. dream promotion he's always been talking about starting? Because he said before AEW did All In that he wanted to start his own promotion. Do we think him buying into Premier is the movement we see where Freddie Prinze Jr. in the next year or so, like, debuts a wrestling promotion?
That's a good question. It looks like he wants to do more. Man, you stumped me, man.
I think he could, because he does love the business. He loves wrestling.
He wrote for years on 2 different tenures with WWE. So he's been in the business. He's held positions in the business. Pornhub is not considered career streaming right now, Matt. I'm sorry.
And the Premier event, like you said, that has a bunch of the wrestling and everything else, and one of our good friends, Efren, has his own show on there, and
the game event.
Yeah, we were
Shout
partnered
out.
with Main Event Wrestling, based out of Griffin, Georgia, and they were on Premier streaming. Like, there's some quality indie players like out there on PSN right now.
So what if, Freddie Prince is trying to do sort of a NWA sort of thing and band all those indie companies together under him?
We were
Get all
talking
of their
about that
top
recently,
talent
Devin.
into-
That'd be cool though.
Dude, I've been saying that for years, Devin. That not necessarily the NWA per se, but all of these indie promotions need a governing body again. Not necessarily to be like, this is what you have to do, but to get it streamlined right now. Because right now, independent wrestling in the United States is the fucking Wild West. You
Right.
know, like every one-horse town has an indie promotion now, and I'm not taking away from it. You guys know me. We've interviewed a lot of the same shows. We've supported each other's shows, but like, I'm all about supporting indie wrestling, but there has to be some kind of like control basis to it. And I feel like right now it's the Old West.
You know, it's funny you say that. When we had Stunt Marshall on recently, he wishes the NWA isn't the way it is now. He wishes that it did govern.
Go back
all.
to the governing body?
Yeah. He doesn't but he also was not optimistic that it can be done. But he does wish that it could be with like maybe even one champion again and have all your small. I don't know why it wouldn't work. I don't know why it wouldn't work. He had his opinions about it, but I think it's a great idea, and I would love for Freddie Prinze Jr. to be doing something like that.
Matt brings up a good point. What if this is all just a ploy in 2024 where Freddie Prinze Jr. and MJF blow up the wrestling world with him being the main focus of this new company? They're apparently real good buddies, according to Matt. So, that would be kind of a twist, because if MJF was bought in as a 50% owner, you wouldn't have to pay him the $3.2 million he's going to expect to get paid next year. If he's bought in as an owner of the company, you know what I mean? Like, he'll make way more than that. At least that's how Freddie Prinze would sell it to him.
So this could be a ploy for at Double or Nothing for MJF to just lay down and give Sammy Guevara the AEW World Championship.
How fucked up would that be? Matt Ward, I'm going to stamp the shit out of this.
That's not going to happen.
I don't think he's laying down a Double or Nothing.
Devin, you and your damn Sammy Guevara.
And
The
Nitro
next
Pepsi.
AEW heavyweight champion.
Oh my God, no, Devin, don't do that to me, please.
This
I
is
wasn't
every
ready for
week.
the American
Every week,
Nightmare to
Will.
be champion. I don't need Sammy Guevara as
We're-
the face of the company.
Now we're only missing one thing from Devin. Are we going to get it tonight?
No, you won't. Not tonight. I've already drank.
Al, what you got on your list?
AEW has locked down the trademark rights to AEW Wrestle Dream. No context. That's, they don't ever say anything, but yeah.
Wrestle Dream?
Wrestle Dream. One
With no
word.
explanation?
No explanation.
Man, we could have fun with this for a long time.
Yeah.
Wrestle
Jeez.
Dream.
Yeah.
With no context, we could just make up what we want.
Yeah, it's just that the trademark was filed.
Maybe it's like a sleepover. Like, you remember when you were a kid and you would like go to the aquarium for an overnight trip? That's what this is Wrestle Dream. Tony Khan's going to book the San Diego Aquarium or somewhere fucking crazy, and he's going to let 1,000 wrestling fans sleep overnight and watch wrestling. That's what
He's
Wrestle
just
Dream
doing
is.
it in Jacksonville.
Yeah. That's what they'll do. They'll have a slumber party in Daly's place.
Yeah.
That'd be amazing.
It
And I'm attending.
covers the categories of bandanas, headwear, pajamas, pants, pullovers, shirts, apparel.
Devin, we're on the same page, man. They're going to have a sleepover at Daly's place.
Clothing for wear in wrestling games.
Mm-hmm.
So it may be like a clothing deal.
No, it's not. It's a sleepover at Daly's place. Next subject.
It sounds like everyone might be gaming out.
Yeah, that's it. Book it, TK.
For clothing, so the trademarks for clothing, toys, and other merchandise uses.
Okay, so they're going to have some sort of like third-party marketing deal
Yeah.
going.
No announcement has been made.
Justin says it's probably another show name to add to the 65 he already has.
I mean, that was my first guess. That was my first guess. Another show name. Absolutely. But then we
Yeah.
started talking about all the sleepwear. I changed my mind.
Tony Khan still
I think it could be a sleepover.
It could. I
A
still think it's
sleepover,
a
and
sleepover.
you have your own merch. You can sleep over there in.
Mm-hmm. Lock in
I'm
at
in.
Daly's place. That's
I'm
what
in.
the Wrestle Dream is.
And the interesting thing is, Wrestle Dream is one word. But the D in dream is capitalized.
I'm trying to behave with it being kickouts for the show and all. I don't want to make a wet dream joke, but I'm going to because I'm
No,
sorry.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Like, how did somebody didn't think this through? Like, see, Tony Khan wants to sleep with his fans. Angry Lemonade's on the exact same page I am. All Tony Khan is trying to do is get a lock-in at Daly's place. That's what the Wrestle Dream is.
You know how they have the mini, like, size stuffed animal figures?
Yeah.
Of, like, Sammy Guevara and Cody and all these other wrestlers? It's going to be a life-size one that you can just cuddle.
Oh my
Sleep with.
God. I want to... Never mind.
That's your
I want a
wrestling.
life-size
I
Jade
will
Cargill.
literally make a GoFundMe to get Katie a Wardlet one.
Get
Well,
Katie a word.
If they have those, Devin will have a Sammy Guevara life-size stuffed animal.
A life-size
Right.
plushie of Sammy G.
If you buy the Sammy Guevara, you get Ty Conti 50% off. So might as well.
Oh no. Katie
Katie
said please. Let's see. Next up, recently on his podcast, Foley is Pod, Mick Foley said, he's mentioned two things he wished he had never done. I wish I had not dropped elbows on the concrete in non-televised matches and used it on TV. And I wish I'd brought up the hand because there was no correlation to me between guys who blocked or did not block chair shots and guys who got over big time. Because these guys who were the biggest stars in the business did block the chairs and no one thought any less of them.
And I couldn't agree more. He put himself at so much risk just to be the best of the most hardcore out there. And listen, he is, and he did some insane things that have been beaten to death. We know, but it just wasn't necessary. It wasn't necessary, and I still worry about these guys today. We're not hitting people in the head with chairs anymore, but I feel like nobody can do a moonsault properly without landing on their head the wrong way. And it's. What does it get you? Is it going to bring you to the next level? Like they were talking about Dante Martin, you going to remember the move, or you remember that he broke his leg?
The leg.
That's all. You're not going to remember that move at all, even though it's exciting and we like it at the time. You're not going to remember it in a week. So I agree with Mick Foley. He still has some. He's very lucky to even be, as far as I'm concerned, be able to speak.
Yeah.
And he's one of my favorites of all time. But man, rewatching some of that stuff, it is hard to watch. It's hard to watch.
Agreed.
I'm a Foley purist, but even when I was a wee young the Will Gray, I knew that when Cactus Jack dropped those elbows on Sting on the concrete, that hurt. At like 5 or 6 years old, I looked at it and was like, damn, that sucked. Like, that stuff didn't feel good. And this man did that. And you got to think 30 years ago in the early 90s now, because that's where we're at now. Like, if you look at it like that, he was doing things before his time to put people over. He was one of the best sellers of all time. Where did Mike go?
He does this. He'll be back.
Oh, okay. Okay. But I just realized, I was like, oh shit, Mike disappeared.
Oh, no, don't acknowledge him.
Okay, just pretend like it didn't happen. Mike is still there. But like, I think that he did do a lot of damage to himself to help put other people over. And I think looking back at it now, he probably could have got 10 or 15 years because they say there's only so many bumps on that bump card, and if you take the kind of bumps he was doing, a Hell in a Cell's not just one bump. Like, that had to take more than one off of his bump card. That's all I'm saying. He definitely left more out there than I would say arguably maybe any other wrestler ever has.
And you think about it, just simple moves, the wear and tear on wrestlers, let alone moves like this. I mean, Hulk Hogan's back is destroyed because of a leg drop. Like, this guy's dropping elbows on the concrete.
Yeah.
Oh, Mike's back.
Yeah, I'm back. Sorry.
No,
I got kids.
I panicked. I thought it was something on my end.
No, that was that for me.
Welcome
I got
to my
kids.
world, bro. Welcome to my world.
Mike, Devin, you guys got any opinions on Foley?
Man, Foley to me, I love Foley, but I really wish he didn't do all the stuff he did, because I seen him back in September, and just him walking down the hallway in the motel room, you can tell he was in some pain. So all that just to make $1, it's not worth it. Yeah, so I kind of agree. Like, he shouldn't have done all that stuff he did, especially for nothing being on TV.
Agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, I honestly just agree with everyone. Everyone
England
kind
man
of
says he ripped
says
his
the
ear
same.
off. Like, that says it all. He literally got his ear ripped off.
Yeah.
Next, WWE already has plans locked down for a Logan Paul return.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, we're all on board. All three of us, 100%.
No, as much as I hate Logan Paul as like a human being, because he is, as Seth Rollins most eloquently put it, a dumpster fire of a human.
Tell us how you feel.
I mean, he is. I do appreciate the fact that, as opposed to other celebrities that come into the ring, he did take the time to learn and train properly, so he didn't hurt people. I will give him that credit. He's not terrible in the ring. He's actually pretty good, and he did the work, and I appreciate that. But
I can agree with that. Like, that he did do the work. He's trained. And he is good in the ring. Like, so, I mean, I don't mind it if he's going to put keep putting the work into it.
Yeah.
Don't put it in your head, hey, now I'm big time. And, as long as you don't do that, I think you'll be all right.
Logan Paul equals money. Logan Paul announced on Twitter and Instagram and on TikTok that he was going to be challenging Roman Reigns for the championship and going to be on SmackDown this weekend. That SmackDown was the most viewed SmackDown of the past 10 years, 10, 15 years, ever since the viewers started going down. I believe it was a 3.8.
Mm-hmm.
So that's money. Everyone wanted to tune in and see what the hell was going on with Logan Paul. It doesn't matter if he's a wrestler, if everyone wants to categorize him as that. He's a sports entertainer through and through, and he should be in sports entertainment's top show.
And I also don't agree that he's taken somebody's spot because, of course, because if it wasn't him, it'd be somebody else, another celebrity. They bring a celebrity in for WrestleMania and SummerSlam all the time. It's not just him, so he's not taking anybody else's spot. Vince McMahon or somebody is going to bring in somebody like that. I mean, he goes all the way back to WrestleMania 1 with that. The amount of people they introduced at the main event, nothing to do with wrestling, and at least this guy's athletic.
I wouldn't say he's taking anybody's spot either. Again, he's done the work. It's not like, it's one of these legends that comes back who can barely wrestle in the ring, Lita, and take somebody's spot from, that, to me, that's taking a spot versus somebody who can actually, like Logan Paul, who can actually come in and do the work and participate in the shows. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, Lita's great to look at sometimes, but, she clearly can't really do it anymore.
Justin says, in the same boat, hate Logan Paul as a person, but as a wrestler, got to give him props every time. He shows he gives a damn about the business. As much as I hate to fucking say it, he's right. He cares about the business. He goes in, he does it right. And you know what irks me the most about him, guys? He keeps kayfabe alive. When he goes on Impulsive, he keeps kayfabe going. He follows all the stories like they're real fucking life. You know how much that irks me as a wrestling purist for the one person who I'm not supposed to like or give a shit about, is one of the few people who's still keeping kayfabe alive right now in the business? That's hard for me to say that a fucking YouTuber takes the business more seriously than some wrestlers do.
The same exact thing could be said about Pat McAfee.
Agreed, yeah.
I was listening to his podcast, and he was talking about his experience recently at WrestleMania. He was literally sounding like, well, I was just hanging out in the back of the bus, and as soon as I heard The Miz throw that challenge, I sprinted all the way to the front and said, play my music, I'm running out. No, obviously it's been planned for 5 or 6 months, probably. It didn't just happen like that, but I love it.
Yeah.
Kayfabe, brother.
That's me. Can I knock one off my list?
Yeah, I was just gonna...
Oh, you gotta finish something? Oh, I'm sorry.
I replied in the chat, but I'm gonna say it too. Matt Ward said Lita's run was finished with the Trish attack, so I won't have to see Lita anymore. I mean, I respect the things that Lita did for women in the business. Like, she did amazing things. But on that same hand, like, bringing her back just so she could complete her Grand Slam, like, nobody cares that, you're now a Grand Slam champion, 20 years after you're done wrestling. But it's a prime example of her taking a spot from an already underutilized women's division. I say it every week, there's tons and tons of women on that roster who we never see, who are amazing, and we give Lita a 2-month run, and she's here and gone again. Like, that could have been Doudrop, that could have been Nikki Cross, it could have been, Dana Brooke, it could have been somebody else with Becky. Just saying. And so, now I'll step off my soapbox and Will can go.
It did work, Devin.
Sorry.
I'm like Pavlov's
I had to try
dog.
out the bits there.
Yeah, I'm like Pavlov's dog when I see it pop up. The next one I want to talk about on my list is I sent you guys a list that Wrestling Headlines put out, that WWE recently put out. I'm putting it over into the chat. The people listening later are just SOL. It was their WWE's top 30 world heavyweight title changes of all time. To throw some highlights out there, the top 5 are Hogan over Sheik at MSG, Stone Cold over Michaels at Mania 14, Rollins cashes in at 31, Kofi Kingston at Mania 35, and then Mankind beating The Rock at Raw for the #1 title change in company history. What do you guys think about it? Did you guys have a chance to put your eyes on it? Like, do you guys have a favorite title change that came through it?
All right, so I don't know how they even come up with this, because all right, so I love when Mankind wins that championship. Don't get me wrong, I love that moment. I love that Raw. However, if Stone Cold doesn't come out, is that #1? I'm saying no. I'm saying Stone Cold's pop makes that #1, and it has nothing to do with Mankind. Also, what the heck is number 19? Number 19 is the Warrior defeats Hulk Hogan. Look, I'm not a Warrior fan, but that was a big freaking deal, man. 19? And I'm not real thrilled about number 13 here either. Daniel Bryan wins the triple threat. Those should be higher.
Yeselmania for
sure. I was a little heated about it. I don't know why I was so heated about it, but I'm like, come on.
The screw job at 16 bothered me. Hey. I said the same thing. I was like, why is the screw job only at 16? It could arguably be the biggest title change that was like the most polarizing in the company if you really want to make that fight about it. I was curious about your take. Mike, what you think about it?
Well, for one, right there, you got a sample of Rant and Stanton. So, there we go with that one. But, I mean, I do kind of agree with Brad. Like the Mankind one, if it wasn't for Stone Cold, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But, honestly, I think, and I know they don't do it, but like the whole Chris Benoit thing, I think he should have been on there because that was a big deal for him and for everything.
And that was the World Heavyweight Championship.
Same thing. Don't matter.
I'm curious if the Mankind beating The Rock is #1 purely for the fact of like they leaked it on WCW that night.
That's another thing, right?
That's what it is. And I do think like the Dana Bryan one, I think that should be down lower on the list. That should be probably a top 5. That was a big moment when Dana Bryan won.
I mean, are you guys surprised at Kofi's 2? I love that match and everything, but 2?
Kofi
that was predicted.
Winning the title and Brock beating Kofi are both on this list because they put the Brock over Kofi squash match at 25.
Get the hell out of here!
Yeah.
That was complete bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
That oh man, yeah, you got me fired up with this list.
Good, I'm glad I sent it to you, Mike. What were you saying? I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. I'm sorry.
I just think I think with the Kofi that wasn't that was kind of expected. it wasn't, it was another replay of the Daniel Bryan, so you kind of expected that to happen. So I don't mind it being on the list. I just
Right.
think it should be higher up.
Mike, you know how much I love that match. You know I love that match. We did that match.
We did.
But it's not 2. It's not 2.
No, definitely not 2. I would say Daniel Bryan would be a number 2. Like, switch those 2, in my opinion.
I can't believe you're not crying at Eddie Guerrero so far down the list.
Undertaker over Psycho Sid at 13 is at 28. Undertaker winning his first title, in my opinion, is bigger than Roman over Brock at WrestleMania 38.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Roman Brock last year was a great match, but it wasn't whatever I just said, the 8th greatest finish or 8th greatest title change of all time.
I mean, there was like, yeah, no. I would have said that SummerSlam would have been better. Well, I guess it wasn't a title change, but
no. Well, SummerSlam, in my opinion, was a better match than the WrestleMania match that year. But
there's one that I don't even think should be on this list at all.
Which one?
And it's number 18. AJ Styles defeats Jinder Mahal on SmackDown to become WWE champion. That match meant absolutely nothing other than Jinder wasn't going to face Brock Lesnar at Survivor Series.
Man, you're so right. Jinder winning the championship should be higher than that.
Absolutely. Yeah. That was the Punjabi prison match, wasn't it?
He won it before that.
Was that before then? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was before then.
That was the rematch when Khali saved it.
Yeah.
Again, we're Jinder fans. I know it's not a popular opinion, but guy looks tremendous. He's 6'6". He's a perfect heel. People hate him. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do. And he won. The only problem with that title reign was that before he got into the title picture, he was losing all the time. But I thought he did a great job with the title, and I thought he did a great job with the match. It shouldn't be that should not be lower. Exactly, Devin. That should not be lower than AJ Styles beating him. No way.
Yeah.
These guys.
I think Jinder's super underrated. And one of those guys that's really underused.
He got lost in the shuffle when he came back.
Mm-hmm.
There was just too much going on.
Yeah, I'm a fan. Keeps himself in tremendous shape. He's a good wrestler, good heel.
I think he could be a top guy right now. He could be definitely be a top guy as a heel right now and make it work.
I think currently he's not in a bad spot. This is kind of going off topic, talking about Jinder. But currently I'm watching him in NXT. He's working with two of the big Indian talents there.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember their names right now. I'm sorry, they're slipping my brain. But working with
NXT.
like
Is it
working
Veer,
against
Veer and
He did
Yeah.
a good job with him.
But yeah, I like that. He's teaching, like tutoring those two into the future, and then he's also going against the guys that are going to be coming up. I think especially when Shanky and Veer are ready for the main roster, we might see a hindrance of Jinder going back for that world title.
I just love that he's never been likable at all. Like he's not cool. He's just, you don't like me. That's it. I love it. I love that nobody likes him.
I agree.
All right, I got one more on my list I'm going to knock out real quick.
Okay.
Steve Macklin is now the Impact World Champion.
Hell yeah.
He got brought up in the chat a little bit ago, but I want to ask you guys a question. And this is a little bit of fantasy booking, but I think we'll kind of all be in agreement that Macklin is going to be a good champion, but he's obviously a transition to getting to Aldis now that Aldis debuted in Impact. Like, at least in my opinion, do you guys think he's a transition to Aldis, or do you think he can stand on his own 2 feet and he's ready to be the face of the company?
Honestly...
Go ahead. I'm sorry, Devin. Yeah.
No, sorry. I think that Steve Macklin will be the champion for a while. I can honestly see him holding it until Josh Alexander returns from injury, because they've had kind of a long feud for like it was a little over 2 months where they were seriously going one-on-one with each other, and so I could see Macklin holding it. He might lose it to I think he's gonna beat PCO here soon.
Yeah, I think he'll beat PC.
100%.
And then I think he could lose it to Nick Aldis for a short period of time, maybe a few months. But I see Macklin definitely getting the title back before Alexander's back and going into a feud with them two immediately.
So what I think is I do watch Impact regularly. I think that Aldis is there to help Macklin. He's going to
Okay.
stay. I think he's going to stay champion, and I also think they're going to play on this Deanna Peraza thing, Perazo, as the both of them being champions is a great story.
Yeah,
That
Matt
they're
just said
married
it in
and they're
the
both
chat too, the
champions.
power couple.
I'm sorry, I didn't even see that. But
No,
yeah,
no, yeah.
that works. That works, and you could do it either way. You could do it good or bad. Like it could work either way. They're both unlikable and likable at the same time. So I'm excited for that. I was glad to see that happen for them.
Yeah,
Macklin-
I agree with them.
Yeah.
Like,
Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
no, that's what I'm saying. I agree with Brad and Devin. Like, I think that's what's gonna happen with it.
I think Macklin. I still. Part of me just. I wrote about it like 5 months back in November when he left NWA. I think it was in November, around then. I said that an Impact return would be what was best for Aldis. I worry. I think Macklin will probably still end up being the transition to either Alexander or Aldis, or maybe Aldis, and then there's going to be like a three-way when Alexander gets healthy, maybe. I would be okay with that because that would be a banger of a match. But I'm hoping that even if he is a transition champion, I hope they let Steve pound through a couple guys first. Like, let him get some good wins if he's going to end up losing it in the next 3 or 4 or 6 months. You know what I mean? Like, let him stack up some dubs before you drop it. Like, that would be the best way to protect it. If you're going to have him drop it in 3, 4, 5, 6 months anyways, at least let him choose some people and spit them out first as a fighting champion.
Agree. I would like him to be champ for a while. So maybe I'm just it's like him.
I like Macklin. He's an alumni of the show. Him and Alexander both, man. I loved, like, Josh was one of those genuinely nice people, and Steve was a good guy. You could just tell how serious he took it. You know what I mean? You ever talk to somebody who's just like, this is what I do. I eat, sleep, and breathe pro wrestling. That's exactly how Steve Macklin came across when I was sitting across the table from him.
Definitely.
Al, you got anything for us?
I've got a few more.
Let's knock it out.
Kurt Angle is interested in a heel run with Chad Gable.
Yes!
Fucking book it. Sell it. Take all my money.
Do it. Yes.
So number 3 on my what you were going to talk about, what pisses me off in wrestling, I had a third, and it's Chad Gable. Chad Gable is athletic. He can talk. He can do everything. He's going to play Kurt Angle in the movie. There's no movie yet. But
No, but there should be.
He could even, they could do so much with him. He can go, he's doing a great job with just the matches, though. Like, he faced Cody Rhodes for absolutely no reason, right? And it was a great match. And he had a lot of them like that. But this, getting Angle, because Angle loves him, getting him involved with this, yeah, exactly. Like you said, take my money, book it. I'm in.
Yeah, with them, playing off of moving Otis over to the faction that shouldn't be, but
right.
alas, Maximum Male Models. I mean, I think this would be super cool. I mean, again, I hate that, like, it's still a legend coming in and taking somebody's spot, but, like, in this instance, I think it would be super awesome.
But he's not going to wrestle, right? Like, he's not wrestling. He's just more of a manager role.
I don't know. Let me double check.
I don't know either. I know he's got some injuries. The way he always talks on his podcast is, you got to pay me a ton, which I know they would, but I don't know.
I think he would definitely be a good manager for him.
Yeah.
Like, let him come in and be a manager, even as a heel. Kurt Angle can still come in as a heel.
He's having fusion surgery on his neck. I can't imagine he's going to be taking any bumps.
Yeah, I don't see him doing too much of that stuff.
But fucking, I remember TNA. Perk Angle was wild, bro. Like,
but I mean, you could also, if you think about it, you could turn Otis heel, and then Gabriel become a babyface, and Kurt Angle come in there and kind of support him. Being the corner as the manager for it. That could work.
I have a great idea. At least I think it's a great idea. What if?
But it sucks.
Yeah.
What if heel Chad Gable had Kurt Angle come in and be his heel manager, and they led the Creed brothers from NXT.
That would be
Ooh.
fire.
Levin, see, this is why you're on the show.
That would be, dude.
Dude.
Book it. Trips. I know you're listening. Book that.
That would be really good. I like that.
I thought they missed the boat on Gable a couple years ago with the King of the Ring. Because he was a babyface and he was going against Corbin.
That was a fire fucking match, dude. So good.
A crowd was behind him, and I thought you have him win, you give him the moment. The next night he turns heel, puts on a bunch of big clothes like the royal stuff, and has like all these trees like protecting him, and he becomes like the King's Court again, like something like that. I thought you could do so much with that, but they didn't. He lost. They didn't listen. They didn't listen to me.
Imagine
Again.
if you had Gable and the Creed brothers going against Imperium as like the sacred mat match or something stupid. You know what I mean? Like 6 guys who have very strong like amateur backgrounds that could get in there and shoot for 10 minutes and just wrestle each other. You know what I mean?
And imagine
Like,
Kurt Angle cutting a promo against Gunther.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, I can't imagine that.
yes, I can, Devin.
It writes itself.
Well, it does.
Next.
Dax Hardwood says that he fears for his life if he ever reveals what he really saw in Saudi Arabia. So he's recently on with Matt Kuhn, and they were talking about some stuff, and Matt had answered a question, like somebody posted on Twitter, what topic do you, like with the NGL like anonymous message thing, and the thing was, what topic do you wish you had covered with Dax but didn't get to? And then Matt Kuhn said Saudi Arabia plane, and then Dax commented and said, honestly, I was afraid if I told the truth about what happened, I would have been found dead somewhere in my house. Apparently he's referring to the Saudi show that was cut short because of like the money issue or whatever. Let's see. WWE superstars had quite a scare on their way back from Crown Jewel several years ago. Vince McMahon had an issue with money that caused him to cut the event's live feed for Saudi Arabia. This was followed by a situation that was described as hostage by some. Thankfully, Saudi Arabia only kept those superstars for about 24 hours longer before letting them go.
Wasn't that the SmackDown fiasco or whatever, where they didn't have the guys back for the show?
By the way, great show. The NXT stars jumped out of that show. That was a great show. Boy, I wish I knew more about it. I don't even know what to say.
I would have a behind the scenes look on that.
Dark Side of the Ring style stuff.
I mean, but they still go over there. They've been over there since like after that. So I mean, was it that bad or was it just?
Good or are they scared and that's why they're still going?
Yeah.
Man, I don't know. What do you got, Devin?
Honestly, I don't know. I mean, I think we'd all love to know the truth behind like what actually happened, and like especially from a wrestler's perspective. But yeah, I don't know. I feel like eventually, someday, we will know the truth. Like we've now heard about what happened in the like Korean trip and stuff like that from WCW back in the day. So I mean, and the plane ride from hell, we're learning about everything. So just give it 5-10 years. I bet we'll hear about it.
Yeah. Evan Husney will get hold of it, and like I said, he'll write an episode about it. It'll happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's see. My last one is Matt Cardona versus Will Ospreay for the 1PW World Championship.
Is that the Rev? No, he's not the Rev Pro champion. Great O'Con's the Rev Pro champion. 1PW?
Yep. It's on Matt Cardona's tweeters.
I think Matt Cardona and Will Ospreay will be a fucking banger of a match, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like, those guys can work.
And they're both entertaining as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'll watch it. I don't know who would win that. I don't know. It could go either way. I mean, depends on how much shine they want to give to that title.
Depends on how soon he's going to WWE.
I thought he would have been there by now, Mike.
I did. Yeah, I did too. I
We
always
had been
thought more of
told by a pretty reputable source that he was going to be there by WrestleMania. And it turns out it came down to money because he's been very vocal about it online. Like, he's making more money now than he's ever made in his entire career. And apparently WWE didn't want to pay him what he's making now.
right.
Like, that's legit. Like, you
And-
can't be mad at a guy when he's making more money on indies than he would make in a WWE contract. Like, he's
I
doing
agree.
something right then.
Works hard too.
Yep.
Justin says it's going to bang and slap.
Mhm.
I think
Both.
Will Ospreay is one of those guys that he can do anything on the inside of a ring. So,
Agreed.
and Matt Cardona is one of those guys that can tell a fantastic story. So I feel like colliding those two together, it's just going to be, it's going to bang. It's going to slap. Exactly what Justin Time just said.
Yeah, so 1PW is a British promotion,
Okay.
British indie, where Ospreay currently holds the title. He won the title yesterday.
Matt says, what are the
No.
chances that All In main event is going to be Kenny versus Will 2 for the New Japan US title? That match at Wrestle Kingdom that was a banger. I don't know if he would put that as the main event, though. It would make sense for Ospreay to main event, right? The whole British thing, like, he's one of their people. Like, it would make sense to put him over there. But it's not a New
different
Japan
audience.
show, though.
No, but
I
it's
think-
a different audience over there, so I mean, you might be
Yeah.
right.
I mean, he currently holds
I-
their title, so.
Yeah, but I think All In's can be a 6-man tag match. You have the Elite versus FTR and CM Punk.
Oof.
I think they're going to go for that.
That'd be the only way they could fill the 65,000 seats they got to sell.
They got to. So how the way can you do it? Honestly, right now, throw CM Punk in there.
And it was a work the whole time,
Yeah, it was.
just for this match, right?
They've
Yeah.
got 95,000
That'd be funny.
seats. They blocked a third of it off. They're saying they're going to sell between 62 and 65. Do you guys realistically think TK put 65,000 people in Wembley?
Oh yeah, I think they
think
do.
No,
I think they do.
I don't. But I think that if you put 40,000 in there, you've done a good job. They're basically saying that it's going to be too big to fill an arena. So anything over that is considered a success to me if they can fit 40,000 people there. So no, I don't think they're going to get to 65. But I
Their
think they'll get
biggest
to
in the
40.
States is at 20, I think, like 20 to
Yeah.
22.
Okay. So that's what I think. I think they would definitely do that easy, and they probably would have too many left. So they needed more than that.
Matt
But
says
no,
50K's
55's a
already
lot.
signed up for pre-sale.
Signed up, not actually purchased their tickets.
Okay, Miss Thang, damn.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
They haven't actually started selling the tickets. Like, that's how many people have signed up that they want into the pre-sale. But that doesn't mean, like, all of those people are going to buy tickets. I have a feeling that this is partially going to be a bought show to help fill that arena.
Yeah. Oh, that's interesting. Okay.
I mean,
That's not a bad
TK's got some
concept.
money.
He does got some money. Yeah, right about
I mean,
that.
they're going into a market where they do not stream. Like, you can't watch Dynamite and Rampage over there right now.
You can, but you have to watch the replay for Dynamite. I think is on Fridays. I'll ask Haley.
It's almost like a week behind.
Not a week. It's definitely like a 72-hour. Like, unless you're streaming it live at 3:00 in the morning or whatever it is, like, you don't get a replay on your cable television for like 48 hours over there.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
That they're not there yet.
I don't know. It might change. Justin brings up a good point. I completely forgot about this, so thank you, Justin. There's a mini tournament to determine Kenny's opponent for Forbidden Door, and Ospreay is more than likely going to win that. So Ospreay Omega 2 will be at Forbidden Door 2, not at Wembley. I completely forgot about that tournament, so Justin comes in clutch.
I bet that main event's that show.
It 100% will main event that
100%, yeah.
show.
That's that audience. So yeah.
Al, you got anything for me?
I can do one more.
You got one more? All right, let's do one more and then we'll take it to the house.
This kind of ties into Wembley situation. Drew McIntyre will remain out of action for at least the next few weeks. His WWE contract has months to go, and the two sides are still far apart on money.
They got to
the
go.
AEW.
They
They'll
got to
pay
get
him
him.
to sit at
WWE's
home.
gonna get him.
What'd you say, Brad? I'm sorry.
No, I just think WWE's got to sign him.
I think that they should, but if he's asking for that kind of money, if WWE don't do it, AEW will.
I don't know.
I mean,
I-
just to have that name on the roster.
I've heard the injury bug, Matt, but I haven't read that confirmed anywhere. But I have heard and that's like the NFL, man. Like, they could not put somebody on the injury report because they know he's going to play and still not report the injury. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, so if they know they're not going to use Drew, they might just not be reporting the injury. But I think this is a situation where he's going to sit at home and get paid till the end of his contract because they don't know what to do with him. So they're going to punish him by not letting him work.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a shame because
It is.
he's amazing.
Yeah,
He is
he is a
amazing.
fantastic worker. If he makes it to the free market after this, if his contract expires and he goes out onto the open market, MJF will have some competition at the end of 2023
I mean,
for
he's
the
already
biggest
done
free
it.
agent.
He's already
Yeah.
done it once. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? He went out and proved himself and brought himself back to do this. I mean,
Is
Man.
there
Is it
really
Drew
a
Galloway?
place
Yeah,
for
Drew
him,
Gallo
though?
or whatever his name was. Mm-hmm.
Is there really a place for him, though, right now in AEW? Like, not really. Like, their roster is already too full, and to bring in another powerhouse star like that, like, there's nowhere for him to go.
On one of
totally
the
agree.
65 shows they've got planned, he could be on the Wrestling Wet Dream or whatever it's called.
Yeah. I mean,
I agree. I agree with you. I don't think there's a place for him there. I think his place is WWE, and they're crazy not to sign him. Figure it out. Figure it out.
WWE needs to stop, like, legends are great, don't get me wrong. They're amazing, and they've done great things for the business. But they need to stop bringing in these, like, one-off legends and use the talent that they have. Like, they're going to waste, you know, an amazing
Talent
person
that
like
they-
Drew. Like,
I
They
agree.
carried you through the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah, I agree 100% on that.
like, make your current talent happy and stop focusing on all this other crap.
Yep.
I agree.
Well, gentlemen, we've done all the damage we can do for one night. This is everybody's favorite part of the episode, though, because I finally get to shut up. This is the chance for you guys to plug your stuff, put yourself over, tell everybody to find you, what's going on with the Kickout crew.
Go ahead,
Yeah.
Devin.
All right, so coming up soon on the Kickout Crew, we have some big guests that we're going to be. We're still interviewing a bunch of wrestlers. We have a WCW legend going to be on our show soon, so make sure you're catching us everywhere on all of our Instagram, our Twitter, our TikTok. It's all at Kickout Crew. I am at Devin D19 on all the same platforms.
I am Brad at Yes Man Brad on Twitter. Devin's not lying. We got some big guests coming up. We appreciate you having us on today. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and you can find me at Whitaker1028. And yeah, man, I had a good time tonight. So thanks for having us on.
I really appreciate you guys for coming on, man. When I sent the message out, and I was kind of hyped because I knew that there was more than one of you. So I think I was talking to Brad mostly.
Yes.
And then he was like, yeah, I think it's going to be me and one person. Then he messaged me, and it was Mike and Brad and Adam. Then they were like, Adam's not coming, it's Devin. And I was like, how many fucking guys are there on Kickout Crew?
Yep.
We still got James too, but
That's awesome. But I was really glad to have you guys. Al, plug your stuff. Tell everybody what you got going on.
You can find me on I can't even talk, on Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at justagirl918. Again, I say it every week. Gonna do a comic. Still looking for a Bailey figure. Still have yet to get one. But I might be able to bring my Charlotte figure back since, you know, maybe she might be a heel again when she comes back. We all know she will be. But alas, I am going to, hopefully by the end of May, start the Boss Bitch Power Hour. It'll just be a show of me and my ladies, and sometimes the rack, bitching about life and stuff, kind of whatever. I'm hopefully going to nail down a co-host for that. She doesn't know it, but I'm going to ask her. And then, as always, on Thursdays, we have Boss Bitch Trivia.
Sweet. My turn?
Your turn.
Shout outs! Follow Wrestling with the Truth. Follow Ted the Hillbilly Hill. Follow Smackin' It Raw. That's MATTRIDDER, Matt Ritter, SES Vince, and Katie Rasslin 13. Follow It's Creation World. That's Lord Cusselot, Travis Pointer, and Mara the Shark Watkins. Follow the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack. They've got a thing going on right now. If you get them to 100 subscribers on Twitch before Wednesday's episode, then Selfbet will take a chop live on air from the Silverback Gorilla Nate Slater. Not Nate Slater, I'm sorry. I lost my train of thought. The Silverback Nate. So get him to 100. Let's get Selfbet chopped. Every 100 followers is a chop. Sorry, Matt. So every 100 followers is a chop. So let's give the Wrestle Talk Wolfpack a follow over there. Couple housekeeping things. Follow us on YouTube at Rivet City Radio. This is important because everything that's been Botch Spots and Share Shots for the last 2 years is transitioning to Rivet City Radio now that we have more than just us now. We've got Dirty Belly and Trivia and the Boss Bitch Power Hour, Nerdy News at 420, my interview series. So it's more than just Botch Spots now. So keep an eye out. We're going to be transitioning over to Rivet City Radio. Tea and Hot Takes on Tuesday. Replays of Al Snow, Mike Bennett, and the prize Alec Price all coming down the pipe on Tuesday. But I think that's it.
Mm-hmm.
But now, as we close another episode of Botch Spots and Share Shots, I want to take a minute. Thank you for listening. Remind you to go wherever you do anything on the internet. Like, follow, subscribe, unsubscribe, and subscribe again. Leave a comment telling me how great I am or how terrible I sound. Either way, it helps the algorithm and it helps find new listeners. If you're feeling really generous and be one of the VIP people, head over to patreon.com and donate to the Rivet City Radio Podcast Network. You get some fantastic swag. We get some fantastic guests. It's a win-win for the Kickout crew. Brad, Devin, and Mike, the boss bitch Miss Al. I am the Will Gray. Thanks for stopping by and listening, my people.
When I get you down, kick out at 2.